With Manipur government failing to withdraw its armed forces personnel and permanent structures within 72 hours from Kazolsa area, SAPO decides to extend the ongoing total ban within southern Angami jurisdiction to an indefinite ban. Sumi Kipimiku Khakulu takes note of the vile and defamatory comments made on social media against SKK's leaders and appeals and reminds all not to misuse fundamental right. The National Socialist Council of Nagalim leader Isaac Muiva strongly reacts to the killing of two of its cadres on March 20 in Tirap, Arunachal Pradesh by security forces and questioned the center on the status of the ceasefire signed in Arunachal Pradesh in 1997. Chief Minister Nipurio visits the office complex of Nagaland Olympic Association to inspect the progress on the works for the upcoming South Asian Athletic Federation Cross Country Championships and 56th National Cross Country Championship. National Disaster Management Authority, Ministry of Home Affairs decides to revoke COVID-19 containment measures after taking consideration in overall improvement of COVID cases. However, wearing of face masks and maintaining social distancing norms will continue as earlier. Highlighting the civil aviation industry has become a key element of India's economy, Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says that the government has set a target of creating 20 new airports by 2025. Hello viewers, I'm Rinki Gogoi and welcome to Nltv Primetime News. Let's see more of the news in details. The Southern Angami Public Organization has decided to extend the ongoing total ban within the Southern Angami jurisdiction to an indefinite ban with effect from midnight 0 hours. The organization issued a press release on Wednesday wherein it stated that the decision has been taken after the Manipur government has failed to withdraw its armed personnel and permanent structures within 72 hours from Kazolsa area. The organization informed that during the indefinite ban against the state of Manipur, paramilitary forces on duty, ambulance with patients, press or media, Tinemi Public Organization executives and its unit executives, TPO Board of Arbitrators on production of valid document will be exempted. It may be noted that the indefinite ban will continue till the demands of the SAPO are met. The Dimapur Municipal Council continues to take the major steps to beautify and keep Dimapur city clean. Notably, the administrator of DMC, Albert Izang, and his team has initiated beautification and cleanliness drive in and around Dimapur city on Wednesday. In the process, the Dimapur Powerhouse Colony traffic point junction was littered with waste and dirt all over. However, the DMC has done a great job in cleaning the whole area and gave the colony a new look. Moreover, the walls were also painted with beautiful murals. Meanwhile, Albert Izang, while talking to Nltv, stated that the beautification work and cleanliness drive have started since 2 weeks. Furthermore, Izang also encouraged and urged the citizens of Dimapur to keep the city clean.
Ito amya sob dikhi taka laga jaga ekta ase ekdom prominent jaga ito highway de ase sob manu par ura laga jaga ekta yate ito designated dumping area tu nohoy kintu public han ito ekdom adar ekta hoigena yate any ekdom letara guri thake garbage kan yate jama han guri thake to ami han ito yete laga ito colony manuhan gibi kwado bishi kwe olebi ito napari gina ini naga he thagi gina haura ami kan ito do awareness ekta create kurule karne public ke be educate kurule karne aro ito beautify bi kurubo ito karne ami han ito ito kiba footpath kan bi ekdom bia condition ta thagise do footpath kan bi ito bhalbra ito repair kurise aru etu jaga te etu wall khan bi uthai kena ami han etu painting khan kuri kena etu beautify khan kurise aru etu iso to tade ami han etu flower bed bi etu banai kena ena orne etu la jaga do sundur kuri kena etu banaise etu la kam do ami khan 2 weeks back shuru kurise etu kali he etu sob to complete kurise
আমি লাগা জায়গা দেখিব পারে সে মানুষ একজন দুজন বা কাম করবে কুম্বা তো কোঅপারেট না করে দেখি আছে তো আপনি এনি একটা মেসেজ কনভে করব মনে আছে কি আমি লাগা জায়গা সাফা রাখিবলে
হয় আমি গান এটো পাবলিক কে সেনসিটাইজ করবলে পাবলিক কে এটো অ্যাওয়ারনেস একটা এটো জেনারেট করবলে কারণে আমি গান এটো পাবলিক হাঙ্গি বি তো রিচ আউট খান করি আছে এটো থ্রু কলোনি কাউন্সিল থ্রু এনজিওস থ্রু এটো ভলেন্টিয়ার্স খান এনা আমি গান এটো সব রিচ আউট খান করি আছে হয় এটো পজিটিভ রিজাল্টস কাম বি পাই আছে হলে বি এটো ইন আ বিগ ওয়ে একদম ওভারনাইট তো চেঞ্জেস তো আহিবলে তো দিগদার আছে আমি স্লোলি আমি এটো পাবলিক হাঙ্গে এটো বুঝাবলে লাগা আমি ট্রাই খান এটো কৰি যাই আছে
আৰু এগিৰে ইংগা নিচিনা প্ৰজেক্ট কৰিবলৈ একো প্লেন আছে না
সে এটো আমি হান সব জায়গাটো বিউটিফাই কৰিবলৈ নাপাৰিব তো আমি হান আৰু সব জায়গাটো পেইন্টিং কৰিবলৈ নাপাৰিব একটা দুইটা আমি এটো কৰাটো আমি হান লাগা এটো ইন্টেনশন তো আছে এটো পাবলিক হাঙ্গে এটো এডুকেট কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে তো আমি হান এটো কৰি আছে আৰু সব জায়গাতে পেইন্টিং কৰা না গলিবে আমি কোৱা নিচিনা উই অলসো ট্রাইং টু রিচ আউট টু দ্য পিপল থ্রু ডিফারেন্ট means তো hopefully edu kiba ekta result ekta do edu ahibo naki guina ami han edu bisas akta
The Sumi Kipimi Kukhakulu has taken grave note of the several vile and defamatory comments made on several social media platforms against it and its leaders. The SKK, in a press release issued on 22nd March, pointed out that while it strongly and firmly believes in freedom of speech as it is a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution of India, it wished to appeal and remind all that it should not be misused to the level of unsubstantiated claims on others. The SKK further cited that how it has toiled tremendously in the service of the students and the society since its inception. The Kukhakulu further added that it has produced many leaders of impeccable character and integrity who have served the Sumis and the Nagas in various capacity. Moreover, the office of the SKK maintained that it is open for all and welcomes any constructive criticism, feedback or suggestions. Therefore, the SKK appealed for restraint before making baseless allegations, especially on social media platforms. As per the directives of the state government, a mass social work was conducted at Kohima on 23rd March 2022 with the involvement of state government employees and the general public led by the district administration in supervising and monitoring the activities. The social work was conducted in view of the South Asian Athletic Federation Cross-Country Championships and the 56th National Cross-Country Championships scheduled to be held in Kohima on 26th March. During the social work, special wastes including debris and building materials along with the stretched roads and paths were removed and disposed of. Civil society organizations, wards, villages or colonies, functionaries and the general public also assisted in their respective areas. The Vice President of Athletics Federation of India, Abu Mehta, on Tuesday interacted with the air personnel at the Nagaland Olympic Association's office in Kohima ahead of the South Asian Cross Country Championships in the 56th National Cross Country Championships, which is scheduled to be held in the state. Mehta, while interacting with the air personnel, said that the events like this signifies the energy and the ambition of the new generations of the Naga youths and to show that the Nagas have arrived at the international stage and aspire to reach higher standards. Mehta further added, saying that so many challenges were faced because the state never hosted an event so big whereby more than 800 athletes from not only India but from Southeast Asia and highest level sports administrators are arriving. Mehta further said that despite of infrastructure problems, Kohima is ready to deliver one of the best South Asian athletic events. Notably, a total of 26 athletes from Nagaland will be taking part in the sporting event scheduled to be held at Indira Gandhi Stadium on Kohima on March 26. It may also be mentioned that an organizing committee has also been set up for the upcoming events with Chief Minister of Nagaland, Nltv Rio, as the convener. A sensitization and capacity building training is scheduled to be held on March 24 at 11 a.m. in Vamuzo Memorial Town Hall in Chozaba. Notably, the training is organized under Information, Education and Communication, actively SBM 2.0, and it is to be mentioned that the additional Deputy Commissioner cum Administrator of Chozaba Town Council, Imkokla, has directed all the concerned members to attend the training positively. A plastic-free campaign was launched in Twensang on Tuesday, whereby the Deputy Commissioner of Twensang, Kumar Ramnikant, also inaugurated the remodeled clock tower of the district. Furthermore, addressing the gathering, the DC advised all to have a change in their mindset to keep the town clean and encourage the gathering to act sustainably so that the future generations will not suffer because of the present deeds. He also urged all the citizens to take the civic works as common responsibility, rather blaming the government. Meanwhile, the SP Twensang Vishal Chauhan in his speech appreciated the initiatives of the remodeling of the clock tower and also donated green dustbins and also assured that the services in the free plastic campaign in the town. A rescue operation exercise was conducted at Old DC's office complex Twensang on Tuesday. Notably, the drill was a joint exercise by the NDRF and SDRF, which was organized by the DDMA. Furthermore, debriefing on the mock drill, SP Twensang Vishal Chauhan appreciated the team effort of the NDRF team in demonstrating the evacuation and rescue mission from a high-rise building, for which he also encouraged the SDRF team to be confident in such missions. Meanwhile, NDRF commander also mentioned on the importance of including NCC and Bharat Scout and Guides personnel in such exercises. Pushkar Singh Dhami on Wednesday is sworn in as the 11th Chief Minister of Uttarakhand at the parade ground in Dehradun. It is to be mentioned that the oath of the office was administered by Uttarakhand Governor Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh. Meanwhile, the 8 other cabinet ministers who also took oath along with the Chief Minister are Satpal Maharaj, Prem Chand Agarwal, Ganesh Joshi, Dhan Singh Rawat, Subodh Unial, Rekha Arya, Chandan Ram Das and Saurav Bahunguna. Notably, Prime Minister Narendra Modi Union Ministers Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh and Bharatiya Janata Party Chief JP Nadda were also present for the ceremony. It may be mentioned that Dhami needs to be elected to the State Assembly within 6 months to further continue as the CM of the Hill State.
मैं पुष्कर सिंह धामी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा। मैं उत्तराखंड राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा तथा मैं भय या पक्षपात, अनुराग या देश के बिना सभी प्रकार के लोगों के प्रति संविधान और विधि के अनुसार न्याय करूंगा।
The National Disaster Management Authority Ministry of Home Affairs on Wednesday revoked the provisions of the Disaster Management Act for COVID containment measures. However, wearing of face masks and containing social distancing norms will continue as earlier. The order copy signed by the Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla read that after taking into considerations the overall improvement in the situation and preparedness of the government to deal with the pandemic, the National Disaster Management Authority has taken the decision that there may not be any further need to invoke the provisions of the DM Act for COVID containment measures. Notably, the total caseload in the country stands at 23,913 only, and the daily positivity rate has declined to 0.28%. It is also worth mentioning that with the combined efforts, a total of 181.56 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday paid tributes to the freedom fighters Bhagwat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru on Martyrs' Day and said that their passion to die for the motherland will always inspire the countrymen. Furthermore, on the occasion of Shahid Divas, the Prime Minister also inaugurated Biplobi Bharat Gallery at Victoria Memorial Hall, Kolkata, via video conferencing. Meanwhile, the newly elected Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab declared Bhagat Singh's that anniversary on March 23 as a state holiday. Notably, the three freedom fighters were hanged to death by Britishers on March 23, 1931 in the Lahore conspiracy case, whereby Trio was found guilty of the murder of Deputy Police Superintendent J.P. Saunders in 1928 to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. Oil and diesel prices on Wednesday hiked by 8 paise per litre for the second consecutive day across the country after a 4-month freeze. Notably, the price of petrol and diesel in Delhi stood at Rs 97.01 per litre and Rs 88.27 per litre respectively. Whereas the prices in Mumbai for petrol stood at Rs 111.67 and Rs 95.85 for diesel. Meanwhile, the corresponding rates for two other metros like Kolkata and Chennai stood at Rs 106.34 and Rs 91.42 and Rs 102.91 and Rs 92.95 respectively.
तो होती है क्योंकि मैं हूँ और यहाँ पे डेली कोचिंग्स वगैरह चालू हो गई हैं तो आना जाना लगा रहता है और इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में हमारा जो है दैनिक खर्चा बढ़ जाता है। किस तरह से मैनेज कर रहा है? सर मैनेज करना पड़ता है, अब जैसे मैनेज इस हिसाब से करना पड़ता है, कभी बाइक हम चला लेते थे, थोड़ी लॉन्ग ड्राइव में तब शॉर्ट करना पड़ता है, बस का सहारा लेना पड़ता है कभी कभी, इस हिसाब से चला मैनेज हो जाता है। बट लेकिन बढ़ते तो फर्क तो पड़ता है, बजट पे इफेक्ट आता है।
गवर्नमेंट से क्या चाहते हैं
सर? गवर्नमेंट की भी अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स है, इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में डीजल पेट्रोल के रेट बढ़ रहे हैं, तो उस हिसाब से।
Kolkata High Court on Wednesday took suo motu cognizance of the March 21 violence in West Bengal's Birbhum district, where 9 people, including a panchayat member of Trinamool Congress, were killed. Notably, at least 23 people have been arrested over the violence in Rampurhat in Birbhum. A bench of the High Court comprising Chief Justice Prakash Srivastava and Justice Rajashri Bhardwaj made a hearing over the matter at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Notably, on Tuesday, a lawyer named Anindya Kumar Das also filed a public interest litigation seeking inquiry by either the Central Bureau of Investigation or the National Investigation Agency into the violence. It may be stated that a state forensic science laboratory and SIT team have reached Birbhum's Rampurhat to investigate the matter. On the other hand, the National Commission for Women has taken cognizance of the violence and wrote to the DGP of West Bengal and SP Birbhum to arrest and take stringent action against the culprits and to intimate the action taken into the matter to the Commission within 24 hours. Meanwhile, West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar launched an all-out attack on the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee in a 3-page reply letter that there was a political conspiracy behind the violence. Over the Birbhum violence, however, Banerjee retaliated, saying that breaking up Bengal won't be easy, as she held a high-level meeting over Birbhum arson. Moreover, Banerjee announced her decision to visit violence-hit Birbhum on Thursday. However, the war of words between the CM and the governor has escalated over the violence. Highlighting the civil aviation industry has become a key element of India's economy, Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia on Wednesday said that the government has set a straight target of creating 220 new airports by 2025. Replying to the demands for the grants of the Civil Aviation Ministry for 2022 to 2023, Scindia said that India had moved forward in domestic and international travels during the COVID-19 pandemic. He also stated that cargo flights for perishable food items will be increased to 30% with 133 new flights in the coming years. Government also plans to create 33 new domestic cargo terminals and set up 15 new flight training schools for pilots, which will create more jobs and also increase focus on the drone sector. He further stated that with all this, government has set a target of creating 220 new airports by 2025. Sonia Gandhi has sought the resumption of the midday meals in schools while speaking in the Lok Sabha about providing nutritious meals to children, pregnant women and mothers on Wednesday. The Congress chief asked the government to resume midday meals immediately as students have started attending physical classes after the closure of schools for 2 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It may be mentioned that she sought the resumption of the scheme under which children get hot-cooked meals, as it will help attract those who dropped out of the schools during the pandemic. She further added that children have been the worst affected during the pandemic, as schools were the first to be closed and the last to be opened. The center on Tuesday clarified in the Supreme Court that it has not made COVID-19 vaccines mandatory and has only said that the vaccination should be 100%. The clarification from Solicitor General Tushar Mehta appearing for the centre came after Additional Advocate General for Tamil Nadu Amit Anand Tiwari told a bench of Justice L. Nageswara Rao and B.R. Gavai that the union government had issued a mandate to US that 100% people should be vaccinated. A total of over 180 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccines had been administered in the country and over 8.91 crore doses of Covaxin vaccines are administered in the age group of 15 to 18 years. The Punjab government on Wednesday launched an anti-corruption action helpline number on the occasion of the Shahid Diwas. The WhatsApp helpline number is 9501 200 200. After Bhagwant Mann had sworn in as the Chief Minister on March 16, he had announced that the government would launch a helpline to curb corruption in the state. He said that WhatsApp number will be his personal number and people can send videos or audios and lodge complaints as he will personally look into every corruption case. Meanwhile, the Punjab Chief Minister visited Khatkar Kalan, the ancestral village of Shahid Bhagwat Singh, and paid homage to the freedom fighter. 4 children from 2 families died in Uttar Pradesh, Kushinagar on Wednesday morning. The families have claimed that the 2 boys and 2 girls died after eating toffees found at the door of their house. Apart from toffees, money was also found at the door. One family member said that the eldest child picked up the toffees outside the house and shared them with the other 3. Shortly after consuming the toffees, all 4 children fell sick and were rushed to the district hospital where they died. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath gave his condolence to the affected families and also ordered an inquiry into the incident. Further, he has instructed officials to provide proper assistance to the families of the victims. Traffic movement on the Delhi-Gurugram Expressway and parts of the Jaipur Highway have disrupted on Wednesday due to a proposed march from the Kharki Doula Toll Plaza to Hero Honda Chowk by the Ahir Morcha to push for their demand for the creation of an Ahir regiment in the Indian Army. Notably, members of the Ahir community have been sitting on an indefinite protest near Kharki Dola Toll Plaza in Gurugram since February 4, demanding the formation of an Ahir regiment in the Indian Army. In a new development, at least 400 protesters had taken out a rally leading to traffic congestion near Toll Plaza and camped at the site. The protesters called for another rally on March 23 with a large turnout, including politicians from BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and INLD. Gurgaon Traffic Police on Monday night issued an advisory stating that the Delhi-Gurgaon Highway on Wednesday and a stretch from Kharki Dola Toll to Hero Honda Chowk would be closed for traffic from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. As Russia's invasion of Ukraine enters its 26th day, we take a look at the main developments. The Ukrainian capital Kyiv saw high risk of the attack on western Ukraine from Belarus, while the key question of whether talks can end the war in Ukraine or not still a mystery. Meanwhile, Turkey claimed that Russia and Ukraine are close to agreement in negotiations. On the other hand, Russia has shelled houses and a shopping area in Kyiv's Podil district, killing at least 4 people. And according to sources, Russia has started using unmanned aerial vehicles in urban areas. Meanwhile, Ukraine and its western backers has claimed that Russian ground forces have not advanced much in the past week, concentrating instead on artillery and missile attacks, often in the urban centers. Also, Irina Vereshchuk, Ukraine's deputy prime minister, has rejected a Russian call for Ukrainian forces in Mariupol to lay down their arms. On the other hand, UK Defense Ministry stated that Russian forces advancing from Crimea are trying to go around Mykolaiv as they attempt to get to Odessa. Furthermore, the governor of Sumy Dmytro Zhivitsky stated that villages of Novoseltsia and Varinya Sorivatka have been contaminated by an ammonia leak at a chemical plant in the northwestern part of the city besieged by the Russian troops. On the diplomatic side, the Russian and the Ukrainian negotiators seemed to continue with their online talks, while the Kremlin has maintained that the peace talks have not yet made any significant progress. Moscow has also accused Kyiv of stalling talks by making proposals unacceptable for Russia. Moreover, Ukraine has said that it is willing to negotiate but will not surrender or accept Russian ultimatums. Meanwhile, European Union foreign ministers will meet on Monday to start discussing imposing tougher sanctions on Russia, including an oil embargo. It may be mentioned that more than 3.3 million refugees have fled Ukraine since the invasion, and nearly 6.5 million are thought to be internally displaced within the country. The UN Refugee Agency has said that also the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, has also called on the World Council of the Churches to help organize real humanitarian corridors. If Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan does not resign himself, he will be removed from the office and will be sent to the jail in a foreign funding case, sources said on Wednesday. As the Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan fights for survival with opposition parties moving a no-confidence motion in parliament, the country's military wants him to resign respectfully on his own. The Pakistan's military have seemingly withdrawn its support to Prime Minister Imran Khan. Notably, Khan is exploring another option which he calls the National Assembly before the Supreme Court gives out its interpretation of Article 36A of the Constitution, after the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf filed a petition seeking a clarification on it after nearly 24 lawmakers threatened to vote in favor of the opposition's no-trust vote. Notably, the article says anyone voting against the directive of the party leader against key issues such as the no-trust vote or money bill will be disqualified. The Supreme Court bench had announced to form a 5-member bench after the preliminary hearing in the case and adjourned the hearing till March 24. One of the 2 black boxes from flight data recorders from the China Eastern airline that crashed in Monday in the South China's Guangxi province has been found. According to sources, it was known that the details about the pilots were also released. It may be mentioned that recovering the black boxes devices that record flight crew conversations and data from the plane's systems is a key to discovering why the flight MU-5735 plunged out of the sky at close to the speed of sound before slamming into a hillside. However, it is not immediately clear which of the 2 boxes, namely flight data recorder or cockpit voice recorder, was recovered. Notably, all the 3 pilots had valid licenses and held certificates and experience. It may be mentioned that the data suggested that the pilots did not respond to the calls from the air traffic controllers after the plane dived. Egypt hosted the first summit meeting with the leaders of Israel and the United Arab Emirates on Monday and Tuesday. It may be mentioned that it is the first of its kind since the UAE normalized relations with Israel with the aftermath of the invasion of Ukraine as well as the Iran nuclear deal. On the agenda, according to Egypt's presidency, the three leaders discussed energy, market stability and food security. Meanwhile, a statement from the Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's office said that the leaders discussed this between the three countries in the context of recent developments in the world and the region and the ways to strengthen them on all levels. Thank you, viewers. That's all from Nltv Primetime News. I'm Rinki Gogoi signing off. For more updates, keep watching Nagaland TV. Sob Manulagawas.